Well, it's obviously too early to get a casualty count. There's been a video put on the internet showing path of this, what appears to have been, certainly according to activists, an airstrike on a big queue of people waiting at a bakery because flour supplies have been running very short. So people were queuing up to get bread in very large numbers. Now, this video shows really horrendous, hideous scenes of bodies scattered all over the place, indeed even piles of bodies. Impossible at that stage to figure out just how many were dead, how many were very badly wounded, and indeed just the overall numbers of casualties between dead and wounded. So, but clearly there were a large number of people killed, certainly well over a dozen, possibly dozens. Some reports from activists are even talking about 200 or 300 killed, but we can't possibly confirm that. Certainly there seem to have been a huge amount of casualties, apparently from an airstrike on a very big crowd waiting bread at this bakery at Halfaya, which is a town that was captured by the rebels just about a week ago, in the last week or 2 weeks. It's one of a string of towns and other government targets which had been taken over by rebels in what is clearly a campaign to take over Hama province from the government. And obviously this is the government hitting back with all it has.
And Lakhdar Brahimi, the peace envoy, is just about to go into discussions over the next 24 hours or so with Bashar al-Assad. I mean, the context, the fresh context for those discussions, hardly positive.
No, exactly. I mean, this is a part of a pattern. There's airstrikes going on even in some of the suburbs of Damascus itself, around the southern edge in particular, some over on the eastern side of the city. And obviously the feeling, I think, very strongly that the tide is coming in for the regime. And it's a question of at what point the sandcastles, as it were, crumble against that advancing tide. So Mr. Brahimi may be trying to get some sense and at what point Mr. Assad would be willing to step down in order for the sake of the nation and perhaps even for his own Alawite minority community, which dominates power in Syria. It's quite clear at this stage the rebels sense victory. They're not going to call off their attack when they feel that success may be imminent, and their primary demand is for Mr. Assad to go. After that, provided he and some of his top people go, it could well be that there's a chance of negotiating some kind of peaceful transfer of power, some transition of power. That certainly is what I think the international community is hoping.